My name is Steve and I'm with Suburban Microgreens. I'm fixing to start growing microgreens inside the house. This is a spare bedroom in the house, and I've got a section of wall right here. It's going to hold a 36-inch Metro shelf, and then I'm going to grow my microgreens with LED lighting. I've got several different varieties. I have never grown microgreens before, but I do have experience in horticulture, and it's something that's really interests me, and I'm going to start trying to do it. I'm going to do lots of experimentation. I've done a lot of research on it. I get some conflicting information, on some things, so I'm going to try different things, lots of experiments along the way. So if you're just starting out learning how to grow microgreens, so we can kind of learn together. If you're already an experienced microgreen grower and you have some tips for me, I'd love to hear about them. So first thing I'm going to do is get this stuff moved out of the way, and then I'll get my shelf set up and we'll get started. Okay, I've got my shelf set up and now I'm ready to mount the lights on here. I got these lights off of Amazon, and they're 3-foot long lights. They came in a 3-pack, but I'm going to grow 3 shelves. I'm going to grow 1, 2, 3 shelves with lights on it. This is going to be my propagation shelf, to where I'm waiting for my seeds to sprout in the dark, and then I'll move them in here under lights. So I'm going to be able to hold, using 10 by 20 trays, so I'll be able to go 3 on each rack, so I'll be able to produce 9 at a time. And I can stack 3 high, 3 high, 3 high here for my propagation. So each crop I can run through, I can run 9 through at a time on this unit. This is a light I got. It's a LED light. It's a 6,000 Kelvin, which is in the blue light spectrum. I've read anywhere from, below 6 to up to 65 for blue light. And most people agree blue light is best what you need. You don't need anything in the red spectrum for microgreens, so I'm going with the blue. So I've got this thing set up. I'm going to hang these things. Each one of these has little clips on it, and then I'm going to hang those with zip ties from the bottom of each shelf. And then I'm going to put 2 on each rack. They're going to be approximately 6 inches from here, or really about 5 inches here outside of the light, about 10 inches in between the 2, and then another 5 inches there. So this light will cover from here to here. This light will cover from here to here. Should give me full coverage on all of my things, and that's one of the things that part of this experimentation, where we may make some adjustments on how we put our lights, how close our lights are, how they're spread out. So I'm going to go ahead and do a time lapse again and pull the shelf back out where I can get behind it, and then I'm going to go ahead and mount all my lights on there. Okay, I got all my lights set up. I got to put it back up against the wall. I redid some of the wiring on this, and basically what I want to do, I want to split them up evenly. I got 3 lights connected to one plug, the other 3 lights connected to a second plug, and then I kind of tidied up my wires with some zip ties and stuff so they're not hanging off everywhere and get caught on stuff. It looks really good. It's really bright. It looks like it's going to cover evenly. I'll know for sure when I get plants in here growing, see if my growth is even. So I'll know whether my setup with my lights work good or not. But anyway, so we got this set up. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go and sift our soil. I built a little soil sifter for that. Gonna put it in the tub, and then we'll put our soil into our containers, and then we're ready to start seeding. Okay, what I got here is just my little homemade soil sifter. I just took some 2x4s, made a box, got 1/4 inch hardware wire, or hardware cloth, and I put, these are old nails for like putting down tar paper on a roof, but they hold it down really good. And I just got a nice size container here, and I built my screener, you know, where it kind of sits on here pretty good. So that way you kind of, you know, it doesn't fit on there perfect, but it sits on there pretty good. And I'm just using this Vigoro potting soil, all-purpose potting soil. I looked up on there and it's got a little bit of compost, mainly sphagnum peat moss and vermiculite, I think. Is it vermiculite or perlite? It says it's different in different states. I'm in Texas. It says compost, sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and then a small amount of fertilizer. It was relatively cheap. This is something that I definitely will do lots of experimenting with, is my soil types. But for right now, this looks like a good all-purpose potting soil. I'm gonna sift it through where I don't have any big chunks. So I don't know how easily this is gonna go through. I haven't done any of it yet, so I'll just put a decent amount of it in here. It's going to be a lot of work. 1/4 inch is pretty small. I don't know, man. 1/2 inch may have been better, but I know it's going to give me a fine mix. I'm going to do this for a little bit here, and then we'll see how much actually comes through. Let's go ahead and just take a look. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Look at that's the mix that comes through, which that's really what I need. So it's going to take a little while to do. So I'll just keep doing this till I get enough of my dirt sifted. And what I'm going to do with the stuff that won't sift through, I'm just going to go throw it in a flower bed outside. It'll be fine for that. It'll be good, just good added topsoil or whatever. So I'll just reuse that out in the yard, or maybe use it later, save some of it. I can use it for planting vegetables, stuff like that. Like, you know, potted tomatoes or something like that outside. So anyway, I'll just keep doing this and keep sorting through it. And I'm not going to bother you with this. This is going to take a while to do. So like I said, and I'll find some better, I think germination soil is really what I need to be using. But this will give me close to that. So anyway, we'll get this done, and then we'll be ready to start putting dirt into the flats. I just wanted to show you, this is that same first batch that I ran through there. And I think I've got most all the soil out of it, but what I've got left is bark, basically. And it did say in the list forest products, so I'm assuming that's bark mulch. So I'm going to take all this bark mulch, throw it out in the flower bed, and keep doing this till I get all this sifted. Okay, it's about halfway filled up this bin with one bag. I'm only doing 5 flats with this very first batch, because the flats I ordered, they came in batches of 5. And I ordered those off Amazon too. If you're interested in any of the stuff that I'm buying, any of the stuff I got off Amazon, there'll be links down there. But this is really nice soil now. It's nice and loose, no clumps, so it ought to make good contact with all the seeds and stuff. There's a few little tiny thin pieces of bark that squeeze through there, but anyway, so I'm going to go get my trays, and we'll start filling our trays up, and we'll be ready to seed. Okay, here's my flats. And these, I went and I spent the extra money and got these heavy duty flats, because I've read so many things about the really cheap flimsy flats, and I figure these are going to be used over and over again. It's worth the extra money, not have to replace them, and I think you're going to get a better quality product because they're going to lay flat for you. If you get those cheap ones and they lay warped like that, you're going to have dry spots and wet spots in your seeds. So I'm going with this. And I just did 1 bag of this stuff because I think that's going to give me enough soil to fill up 5 of these. This is my first crop. It's just going to be 5. I'll do a rotation. I'll have 5 in propagation and 5 in production with these 10 flats. So starting out with, I'm just going to have 5 in propagation, and then when I move these to production, then I can go ahead and seed 5 more. Like I said, if everything works out and I actually can grow these things like I hope I can, then I'll go to I think 12 is what I said I could get. on that rack, or no, 9. 3 on each grow light rack, and then, which would be 9, and then 9 up in seeding on the top rack. So I'm just kind of filling these things up pretty close to the top. I don't know that I have to go really completely all the way to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do time lapse. I'll fill the rest of these up in time lapse, and then we'll water them in, and then we'll put our seeds in. Okay, I got these things moved outside, and I got my little, I got my expandable hose with a shut off, and then I got this little mister. It's a water faucet that I got off Amazon. I figured it'd work really good. It's a nice soft spray. Just kind of water these things in. Okay, and then I got a board. It's just a little cut off 2x4 I had left over from my soil sifter, just to kind of pack the soil down a little bit. It's nice and even. And that one right there is ready for seed. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll time lapse and do the other 4 of them, and then we'll come back and we'll put the seed on. Out of the seeds I'm going to plant, 2 of them required pre-soaking, at least from my research. And these are black oil sunflower seeds. And then these are, I forget what kind they are. They are mammoth melting sugar pod peas. So I've soaked these, and I've read anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. I soaked them for 6 hours, and I'm going based on these peas. They grew, they got bigger in size, they quit growing. So I'm going to go with 6 hours this first time. Next batch I'll soak longer and see if it makes any difference or not. So anyway, so I'm going to do the sunflower seeds first. I measured these out at 100 grams on my scale before I soaked them. So that's what I came up with just from researching these things on how much seed you need for each flat. And that's what I came up with on these, was 100 grams. I'm just going to spread them out as evenly as I can. These are a little harder to spread. I got some shakers for the smaller seeds, but being that these are wet already, it makes it a little difficult to spread them in a shaker. So I'm just going to spread them out. Get them all in there. And then I'll just take my hand and, I mean, this is kind of common sense here, right? Hopefully this is the right amount of seeds based on the research that I've done. And then you just want to get them nice and spread out evenly. So this is going to take a little while, so I'm gonna do this one regular speed, and then I'll fast forward through the peas. And obviously the way I'm doing some of this stuff, it's not going to be very conducive to production, but I'm experimenting right now. It's just my soil, you know, I couldn't do what I did with the soil. It took me 20 minutes to go through 1 bag of soil, and I think it was going to be enough to do about 10 flats, but still, that's too much time. And I'll fix that when I find a soil that doesn't have the bark in it. So that looks pretty good right there, I think. So I'm going to take my board and I'm going to push them back down again. I wash my board off. So I'm going to come back like I did before. And I'm just going to lightly press them down, just where I got good soil contact with all the seeds. hit it again one more time with my mister. Just to wet them down good. Okay, that one's ready. And I've got one of my hard trays, my solid trays here with no holes in it. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to set this tray in a solid tray, and then I'll put my peas on top, and then one other crop on top. So I'll stack these 3 high, and then I'll put another one of these solid trays over the top of that to keep light off of it till it germinates. And then we'll move them inside. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll fast forward through this next section of doing my peas. And then when I get to the other ones, we'll actually weigh them out because they're dry seeds, so we'll actually weigh them out and do them on video at regular speed too. Okay, so I've got those done. So I'm going to bring my tray of black sunflower seeds with a solid tray underneath that. And then we're just going to sit that tray right on top of that one, which will black out the sunflower seeds. And then whatever the next crop I do. As a matter of fact, the other crops are going to be dry seeds. So I'm just going to go ahead and count this one as one stack. Because one stack is going to have 2, one stack is going to have 3. So I'll just set another tray. I may put some kind of weight in this because that's not gonna, no, I think it'll be all right. If I think I need to, I may put a little bit of weight, something in this to kind of weigh that down just a little bit. And then we'll take these and sit them on our propagation shelf. So I'm gonna set these to the side and I'm gonna go get my scale and my other seeds, and we'll do the last 3 trays. Okay, the next one I'm gonna do are radishes. And these, I'm sorry, it's the wrong bag. These are the China rose radishes, and they are, from my research that I've looked up, 40 grams is what I need for one tray. So I'm going to actually weigh these out, and then I don't have to soak these. So I'm going to put my scale, make sure it's set on grams, which it is, and I got it tared out at 0. So that gives me 0 for my cup. So I'll get a true 40 grams of seed. Okay, I don't know if you can read the scale or not there. That was exactly 40 grams of seed. Now I've got these lids, and it's going to be too big. Okay, so this one's got a bigger hole here. Just depending on, I got this set off Amazon of these shakers. They got 3 different size lids, and I may have to modify some of the lids maybe melt the holes out a little bit bigger with a soldering iron or something like that. So now I'm going to come in here and just going to shake these things around. These are a little easier to spread evenly, especially with this shaker. And like I said, of course, this will be, I'll make adjustments. If I do one of these and they look too crowded, I'll back off on how much seed I'm putting in. If I do them and they look too sparse, I will come in and add a little bit more seed to the next batch. And I'm going to keep logs of all of this in an Excel spreadsheet of exactly what I did, every little thing that I did, times on my lights, times or how much seed I used, or how long I soaked the seeds it requires soaking, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to keep up with all that stuff, and then I'll make adjustments, and that way we can find out what is going to work and what isn't going to work. So you're more than welcome to follow my journey along and help learn from what I did good and what I did wrong. I don't think I need to spread those out anymore. I'm pretty happy with that. Make sure I got all that seed out. So now I'm going to come in with my board. I'll have to clean that off. Some of those they're going to stick to my board. I may try one of these without the board thing because I don't really know. I'm going to lose some of my seed, move some of my seed around. I don't really know how important it is with that. I think watering it in at that point is probably going to be okay. So some of these smaller seeds I may not do the board. So get my scale out of the way, and I'll go ahead and soak these down one more time. Just enough to get them good and wet. Now, these seeds were dry to begin with, so they're going to be a little more susceptible to drying out quicker, I would think, because they weren't pre-soaked, but we'll see what happens. So now I got another solid tray here, and I'll put that on the bottom, and I'm ready to do my next tray. And okay, so let's see what we got next. This is green sprouting calabrese, C-A-L-A-B-R-E-S-E, which is the broccoli. So it's green sprouting calabrese broccoli. And this one is going to be a 30-gram mix, or 30 grams. So I'll put my seed thing back on here. Go ahead and tear it out again. And these are definitely a smaller seed here. Whoa, okay. I had my bag on there. I thought I went over. 22, 26, 30 grams. Okay, I may be able to go with my smaller lid. And this one, I'm going to try this lid, see if it works. I mean, if not, I'll go back to the bigger lid. Oh yeah, this medium lid works great for these seeds. So, and I can buy extra of these lids, and I can modify them to fit basically any kind of seed I'm planting. This little shaker thing will work great. I don't know if I'll be able to do it with something as big as the peas, or the, probably for sure not the sunflowers because of the oddball size, but the shaker thing, I'm glad I did that. I watched a lot of videos, people pouring them in by hand and stuff like that, and I really like this. I think this is definitely the way to go as far as spreading them pretty even. I feel pretty happy with that, getting a pretty even spread. There's a few that are, I guess, a little oversized that didn't want to come out, but dump those out. Make sure I got all these seeds out. I don't want to end up with a broccoli and my cabbage or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to bypass on this one the tamping the seeds down, because a lot of them are just going to stick to my board, so I'm just going to wet them down. I think that'll be fine. They look like they got good soil contact. That's the main thing. They got good soil contact and stay moist. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna sit it on top of my broccoli, or top of my radishes. And I guess too, sitting those other trays on top will help smash them down a little bit. Okay, so the last one we got left is a red acre cabbage. And that one is also, by my research, 30 grams of weight. So we'll re-tear that out at 0. And my guess if the weight's the same, it's probably going to be a similar size seed. I haven't opened them or looked at them yet. And I'll have links too to all my, like I said, all my supplies, everything I'm using. You can get this bag open. I'll have links to everything. Some of the stuff is off Amazon, some of it's not, but still got one radish seed left in there. But I'll put links down in the description of Amazon to any of these things that I'm using. Maybe save you some of the... All right, that's 31 grams. It's gonna be a little bit heavy on that one. About 1 gram. Okay, so I think that same size lid will fit for this one. And we'll shake them out. So I'm gonna have a sunflower, some peas, some cabbage, some radish, and some broccoli. I'm really excited to see how it comes out. I love growing things. Especially things I can eat. Okay. You have to excuse the airplane. I told you I was Suburban Microgreens, so I'm not too far from the DFW airport right now, so we've got planes to fly over. Okay, so there's that one. There's my broccoli and radishes. I got my cabbage on top. I'm gonna put that on there. And then there are my sunflowers and my peas. So I will take all of these and we'll move them inside, put them up on the rack, and let them start sitting for a few days. So I'll see you back inside at the rack. Okay, we got our trays seated now, so we're ready to put them up on our shelves. This is my stack of 3. I got 3 stacks of seeds, and then a solid tray underneath to catch water, and then a solid tree on top. And so I'm going to put these up here. And then this is my tray of sunflowers and peas, which is going to go here. Now, ideally, when I get this thing to full production, I'll be able to go 3 across. I'll be able to put a 3rd set of trays across here. So I'll be able to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trays growing, 9 trays up here to build it just like this with 3 sets of these, 9 trays up here in propagation. So that's it for this part of the video. I'm going to make a second video, a second part for this one that will be showing the progress of the trays every day through the whole cycle, and we'll come in, and it's midday right now, probably before bed tonight. I will come in and water these with a spritzer bottle. Just spray water with a spritzer bottle across the top, make sure they stay moist on the top. I'll do that with each of the trays, and then I'll do that every 12 hours is what I'm going to try to start with. So do it at night, do it in the morning, do it at night, do it in the morning, until they're grown enough to come down in here, and then from that point we'll actually add water into the bottom trays and then let them water from the bottom up. So in recap, we got our 36-inch shelf here I've got 6 36-inch lights that are 6,000 Kelvin a piece. The lumens, I don't remember, it was pretty high on lumens too. I think they were like 2100 or something like that. And again, I'll have a link to the lights and some of the other stuff that I bought off Amazon in the description. So if you want to go to that, you can find some of that stuff. So I got my shelf built, I got my lights hung, I got my first set of trays seated and ready to go. So we just got to wait anywhere from 2 to 4 days is what I'm seeing on before these things start sprouting. And once they start sprouting and get up high enough, then we'll move them down here under the lights. So I don't need the lights right now. I'm going to get my timer. Should come in sometime today. I'll get my timer set up. I don't really need the lights or anything yet until these are ready to be moved under the lights. So I'll kill the lights. And so I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you subscribe, hit the little bell notification. And that way when the next video comes out, you'll get notified of it. You know, like I said, I'm not claiming to be an expert on this. I'm just learning how to do it, and I'll take you along my journey. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Bye.